Kim Deal's releasing her highly anticipated debut solo album this Friday. Nobody Loves You More, recorded with a friend, the late great Steve Albini. A fantastic addition to her discography. The artist who's made a name with Pixies, forming the Breeders, as many other projects as well. And we'll hear from Kim all about the new album and much more after the first single that was released from it back in July. Kim Deal, this is Coast. It's BBC Radio 6 Music, and that's Kim Deal with Coast. Kim Deal, welcome to the programme. How are you?
Hi, Huw. I'm very well. I'm here in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio.
Fantastic. Well, it's lovely to meet you. It's a great honour to meet you. And I think that song, Coast, was the first song that we heard from this, your debut solo record, which is out on Friday, Nobody Loves You More. And it's a lovely song, that one, Kim. Can you tell us where that song came from in particular?
Thank you, Huw. Well, imagine yourself trying to straighten your life up because things have gone so horribly for you. And you're on this island and you're trying to dry out. Imagine it's 1999, something like that.
Okay, I'm there, yeah.
Before you were born, Huw, et cetera, et cetera. It's a little bit about that. You know, first of all, I'm from Ohio. So people think of Ohio, it's the Midwest, and also people on the coast look at it and say, oh, Midwest, Ohio. Very cringe. So we get a lot of that sort of people looking down. People from the coast are so smart and beautiful. So it's got a little bit of a tinge of that, like, because I'm on the coast in 1999 trying to dry out. But all of these kids were running around and they just looked so beautiful, and they were out in the daytime, Huw, and it boggled my mind. There was actual things to do in the daytime outside.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit about that.
It's a lovely song, and your explanation of where you're from is fascinating to me because you've obviously travelled the world with Breeders and with Pixies and with, you know, you've seen so much. Did you sometimes find yourself in places similar to Ohio and go, I know this place, I know what these kids are all about?
Biggleswade, where Josephine is from. That reminds me a little bit of Ohio.
Oh, really? Where's Biggleswade?
Exactly. There you go, you see? Just like Ohio.
Okay. No, but we've heard of Ohio. I mean, we know Ohio. There's some beautiful music come out of Ohio. Do you think, was it the boredom and the jealousy that has given us the interesting music that has come from your state?
Oh, definitely. That's right, Huw. That's right.
Oh,
Made by pure jealousy.
This is your debut solo record, which is astounding, but not your first solo work, Kim. You've put out solo recordings prior to this, right?
Yes, I did. You know, even the Amps record, another piece of time where I was a little confused, was a bit of a solo attempt, really, you know. That was kind of solo-ish.
Right.
And then this solo series, like 7 inches that I did, starting in like 2013, I put out one, and then I did 5 more. So I had like 10 songs that I thought, well, I've got a couple more songs, so why don't I just try the record? And then people don't have to stand up and try to turn them over. Look, in 2013, people weren't really listening. There wasn't really a big streaming thing, was there?
Right. No.
So I was like, you know, here's the 7 inches. I could just like make something where you don't have to stand up after every song. I could do an album. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. An album for you, clearly a big deal. And this seems to be, the few times I've heard this beautiful record, a freedom to this music as well, Kim. It sounds like this is music from a beautiful place with kind of no rules. It's kind of a fluid, liquid sounding record. Would you agree with that?
There was a freedom to make anything that I wanted to. For instance, Huw, when I picked up the ukulele, which I've never played, and I would thought of myself not as a ukulele type of chick. So I picked it up and started playing it, and I came up with a nice little thing, and I heard all these strings in my head. Josephine was in town working on Breeder stuff. I have my ukulele, my darling ukulele in my hand, and I walk into the room, and I said, hey, Josephine, I have something. And she looked at me and said, absolutely not. There is a freedom that I know that I can use this song in the solo record because Josephine's not in the band. So there's that freedom. But yeah, there was a freedom to be able to do stuff. How about some horns?
Yeah.
I did not think that would be happening. But there are horns on some of these songs. Yeah.
And where did you make this record?
A couple of rhythm tracks were done in Kentucky where the Breeders recorded all Nerve. And then a lot of it was done at Steve Albini's studio, Electrical Audio in Chicago, Ohio, both sort of Midwesterns-ish, 5 hours away. So I can drive right up there and just unload my gear and, work at Albini's. But no more.
Well, I want to ask you about that, of course. Let's hear another song from the record first. Let's listen to Nobody Loves You More from the Kim Deal album here on Six Music. It's Kim Deal and Nobody Loves You More. Kim Deal is my very special guest this afternoon before the record is out on Friday. You mentioned Steve Albini, and we were so sorry to hear of the passing of your friend. How often had you been in the studio with him prior to this record?
Well, it started in 86 or 87, something like that, at a studio called Q Division in Boston. The first thing I ever recorded with Steve Albini was a song called Gigantic. It was a Pixies record, Surfer Rosa, we were working on. It was time for my vocals. So I go out into the room, ready for my big moment. I sing the song. I think it's pretty good. I walk back into the control room. He presses play on the tape machine, and I had sung the entire song out of pitch. It was my first, singing the whole song in the melody, doing it in a different room with different. I come in, and it's out of pitch. Now, nobody seemed to recognize it was out of pitch. I asked Steve, this is out of pitch. He goes, I don't know. And he didn't know because this has happened more than one time. It's a theme that keeps coming out because even though Steve Albini is sitting there, after I go and sing something, I come back and even though it's Steve, I can't help myself but go, hey, is that out of pitch? To which he would always go, I have no idea. I never did sit down with him and just listen, Steve, here, let's just talk. Are you just saying you have no interest in vocals and therefore pitch means nothing to you as a philosophy? Or are you saying that you really have no idea if somebody is in pitch or not? I don't know. And it's 50-50. But I think he did like my voice. So I don't think it's ambivalence toward my voice, but here's what it might be. If it was sung out in the room and that's the pitch that you decided on and that's what you sang, then when you walk into the control room, then that's the pitch it is. And so that should be the one it is.
Kim, does this tie in with Steve's not liking to be called a producer, did he?
Well, to be fair, he really wasn't a producer. A lot of the bands that come into Electrical Audio, he meets them for the first time. He's never heard their music. All he needs to know is how many songs do you have? So he knows how many minutes of tape he needs to secure for the band. So they will come in and they'll play stuff that he's never heard of, and he will accurately and professionally do the best job he can at capturing the recording. Now, that's just sort of engineering or recording. That's actually not, producing is really getting hands-on. I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's what production work is. Like you've heard the song before you actually record it.
So because you'd worked with Steve Albini on Pixies and you were friends and you knew the way he worked, he knew the way you worked. So I guess it was a no-brainer for this record. It was kind of comfortable for you going back to a friend of a producer. Of an engineer, forgive me.
Yes. He didn't jam compression all the way through the drum track, for no reason.
Yeah.
There's no huge swamp reverb. He did do that once, though, on Where's My Mind? And that actually turned out really good.
Yeah, pretty good.
But anyway.
We've very much enjoyed your recent Six Music Artist in Residence, Kim. One programme in particular was a mixtape from your dad's memorial service.
Yes.
For people who might have missed it, can you tell us a little bit about that programme and the music that you created for it?
That's basically my father's funeral soundtrack. What do they call it when you get when you get together?
Is it a committal?
No, it was just a room off to the side of this place. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it pumped in the speakers throughout. So that was the soundtrack. when we talked and mingled at the viewing, but there was no viewing because he was cremated anyway.
Yeah.
These are his favorite songs. His favorite mailers, Ray Charles, and female artists, Aretha Franklin has to feature, but also Willie Nelson. He loved these players. I went to a Ray Charles concert with him, and I was 22, and he had tears streaming down his face. And this is from guy from West Virginia. He was a coal miner. Then he came up and became a physicist and worked at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base laboratories. But he was like the silent generation, and he had tears just streaming down while Ray was singing.
Did that make you think about the music that you'd like played at your funeral, Kim?
God, you're morbid.
Forgive me.
I thought you were going to say, did that make you think of music in a different way? I haven't done my funeral list. Do you think I should do my own funeral? I better, I really should. I would hate somebody to make my funeral list. Wouldn't you hate it if you didn't make your funeral list?
Yeah, I am a control freak. I'd want complete control, yeah.
Me too. Have you done yours yet?
Oh, no. But, I know how important it is to families. And I remember my dad's funeral as well. He was we were talking about music, and I think he actually said, I want this played then and so on. So it does make you think, doesn't it?
What were some of the things?
Do you know what there was? There was the Andrews sisters, the Boogie Woogie Boogle Boy from Company B.
Oh, love that one.
Yeah.
Sincerely is one of my favorites.
Right. Yeah. Lovely song. Lovely.
Is that them or is that the...
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
But hey, we're off topic. Let me take you back to the record now.
Sorry.
We're going to play another song from the debut solo record. Is it strange for you, Kim, at this stage in your career, having a debut solo album and people like me saying that out loud?
It does seem like I've been doing solo stuff before, but it's the first one with my name on it, and that is weird. It is strange to have it called Kim Deal, and it's the first one with my photograph on it.
Yeah.
And that is a choice, isn't it? So that is weird. It is strange.
Let's play this from the record. This is Crystal Breath. It's Kim Deal on 6 Music with Crystal Breath, and Kim is my very special guest. I know you've been busy playing a lot of interesting live shows, including when Breeders reformed, you supported Olivia Rodrigo in the States, Kim. How was that?
Yes, we did. It was an adventure. It was a lot of fun. I had played Madison Square Garden before with the Pixies, opened up for U2 in 1992.
Wow, okay.
So I had been at this big place. And Pixies also opened up for The Cure at Dodger Stadium. It was The Cure, Love and Rockets, and the Pixies. So I had played a couple of big shows. I knew what to expect, which is you're standing on stage watching people find their seats. Basically, that's what that's the gig. But it was really exciting. Her crowd was different than the crowd that I'm used to seeing shows. They were super nice, but they were dressed up nicely. A lot of young girls, which I'm not used to seeing that age bracket or the mainly gender, There's a section when she comes out on the stage and they scream. It's the loudest noise I've ever heard at a show ever. And I've been to loud rock shows before. The screaming is, yeah.
Is this for you or for Olivia Rodrigo?
God bless you.
Genuinely asking. I'm genuinely intrigued.
It was for her.
Okay.
When she comes and takes the stage, it was really exciting. And she's got a really entertaining way that she takes the stage. So it was really fun.
You're going to be playing the Barbican in London on March the 1st, 2025, which is a Saturday, and also at Primavera Sound in Barcelona. Are you looking forward to those dates?
Yeah, I am, especially now this Barbican one, this is fancy. It's classy.
It is fancy. And there's seats, Kim. There's seats.
There's extra instrumentation, actually do the actual arrangement for some of these songs and maybe even beef up some of the arrangement for some of the songs,
Yeah. There's some sweet, sweet love songs on this record as well. And some sad songs too. I believe Are You Mine is about your mother and the battles with her health.
Well, she had the Alzheimer's and she had it for 18 years, Huw.
That's a long time,
And so it is a long time. I was staying with them, and I lived at their house. And if you've been with somebody who has Alzheimer's and dementia, every day it's a new day, but it all goes sort of one way, sort of downhill. And it's just different downhill days. It's just different things are forgotten. And she was walking in the hallway. I passed her in the hallway. She stopped me. She didn't know who I was, but she said, "Are you mine?" And it was so sweet because, like, she doesn't know what time is. She doesn't know what an uncle is. She doesn't know my name. But I knew that she was asking me if I was her baby. I knew that. Like, it's just odd that the mothering, I guess, can permeate like the ravages of a broken mind, but still hold on to that. I don't know, like a umbilical cord or something. I don't know what the feeling is.
It's very powerful, Kim.
It was really wild. And I just said, "Yeah, Mama, I'm yours." She didn't know who I was, you know? It was strange. It was so sweet is what it was. It was so sweet that she had a baby because she couldn't do anything, you know, but it just was really sweet.
That is incredibly sweet and very powerful as well that you've committed it to record. Congratulations on the album and thank you for talking to us.
Thank you, Huw.
To wrap up, I'd love you to pick a song of yours that you've never heard played on the radio before, and then you can listen on BBC Sounds to this show from the States and go, and that is done now. Now I've heard that on the radio. What will you pick?
The She, Title TK.
Let's play it. Kim Deal, thank you very much.
Thank you.